we've got our own Jerry Antamano again, our Senior Community Development Manager at the lab, going to talk to Ben Kromnick, and he is an executive from Mercury, which is a disruptive health tech, fintech company, and absolutely taking the world by storm. Jerry, handing the mic over to you.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. It's a pleasure to welcome Ben Kromnick onto the program today, one of our partners for the Breakthrough Alliance Challenge that's taking place at the end of the year. So do please check that out. And if you are a startup, we do encourage you to apply to that. Ben, pleasure to have you on the program. We've got a lot to get through, but for those in the community that don't know who you are and what Mercury is doing right now, we'd love you to give us a quick 60-second background on yourself and the good work that Mercury is doing right now for startups.
Sure. Great to be here, Jerry. So Mercury is a banking platform that supports entrepreneurs and founders from date of ideation, date of incorporation. We want to be the first bank account that you open, all the way up through massive scale. And I lead our healthcare and life sciences practice, where I have like the best job in the world. I get to spend every single day taking my all of the scars, all of the experiences that I've had as a founder, primarily building clinical research informatics platforms, and my background as an investor, working with founders every single day, both in our book of business, our clients. We work with them deeply to help them build those strategies up so they can continue to grow, continue to scale, continue to get that next contract at that academic medical center, or get to the next stage with the FDA. But I get to do that from my background, and I get to take the experience I've had as a founder, and I get to use that and deploy that every day, both for our book and for our customers, but also for the ecosystem at large, as we sort of serve as a connective tissue across entrepreneurship ecosystems all over the country.
No, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on and sharing your insights, Ben. And with your vast experience that you've had in the past and what you're doing now with Mercury, we'd love to hear about your vision for the future of healthcare and life sciences, being that you're leading that particular arm at Mercury, and what you see sort of coming up in the next sort of 5-10 years, and of course, where startups are going to play that role in that future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I will not pretend to be able to forecast where healthcare will be in 5 or 10 years. No matter how slow we think this industry moves, yet it's completely different every decade. But I want to talk about 3 kind of macro trends that I'm observing. One, I think, is really fascinating, which is hospital systems, academic medical centers becoming both consumer brands and technology companies and data companies. Specifically looking at some of the amazing work that Mayo has been doing as I think I would say a leader, sort of a flagship for how we can create a consumer brand. Everybody knows Mayo is the place to go to get the best care in the world. But they also have 14 venture funds. And they also have a groundbreaking data platform. And not only is it a data platform, they have an ecosystem that enables startups to access that data, actually develop IP on that data, and then spin out. And they have a really predictable licensing model for that. As we all know, working with academic medical centers, universities, licensing models are never predictable. They're never clear cut. Mayo has made that much more efficient, and they are probably the most organized in this. But there are probably 5 or 10 brand name academic medical center hospital systems that are developing right along that path. So I think that what will be different in 5 or 10 years is the intersection of the academic medical center and the hospital system with the technology industry and with the directly at the consumer. I think it will change both how new healthcare paradigms are developed. I think it will also change how consumers conceive of the care that they're receiving. I mean, that's one kind of big macro trend that we're seeing change. Mm-hmm. The second, I think, is the role of startups, right? So the pace of innovation in healthcare is accelerating. And it's sort of these 2 trends are complementary, right? As academic medical centers and hospital systems get better about working with the innovation ecosystem, it has a knock-on effect where we're releasing all of this additional capacity of innovation that has lived in startup land for so long and has been stifled by frankly, very, very old technology systems, very, very old executive systems. Literally, the decision-making frameworks of hospital systems just don't work with, well, let's try this methodology and see how it goes, and we'll iterate to something different. That doesn't work in a hospital system. I was talking to a hospital executive 2 weeks ago, and we talked about how if you bring a pre-validated company into her system, people just say no. It's like, if you've never integrated with Epic before and you do not have your clinical data for your digital health company or your therapeutic or your device or your workflow company, she's just going to say no. But then the next sentence was, oh, but we support all of our researchers working directly with startups to develop exactly those things. So you just have to know the right front door. And that has been so confused and so unclear for so long. We're starting to see that really change. And I think that startups are going to find much, much more traction much earlier with much better defined ecosystems that live around the patient. I think that's the second one. I think the pace of innovation is going to increase.
You're getting a lot of agreement, I think, in the chat and the reactions as well.
I'm hopeful. And if you are a startup and you want to know more about how to talk to these AMCs, hit me up on LinkedIn or find me through HITLAB. Would love to share which ones are doing a great job. The last trend I want to talk about is super boring, and it's the most important thing in healthcare, which is Medicare. So I was with one of our a congressman yesterday, and he's on the Ways and Means Committee. He's talking about how there was a fiscal policy subcommittee that was defined about 3 years ago, bipartisan committee in the Ways and Means Committee, with the primary focus. It's not in any of their documentation that's their primary focus, but it really is their primary focus, to solve for Medicare in 8 years, because we're in trouble. Like, Medicare is not in a good place. And if we do not change something, we will have to start reducing benefits in 8 to 10 years. And that will dramatically change what healthcare looks like. That change will start sooner, right? We'll start to anticipate this in 5 years. We'll start to do the political prognosticating to try to figure out which way we'll go. And what happens with Medicare will be one of the defining trends in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, no, I think some really important facts and some scary facts, I think, and insights from you, Ben. I know we're sort of coming up with time, and there's always, you definitely filled up a huge amount of time just with that first part there. No, it's great, and we're definitely getting a lot of interaction in the chat and the emojis and stuff. But I'd love to sort of get a quick wrap with you. We're definitely obviously going to have you back in the program again. But in your experience, and specifically around sort of the breakthrough challenge that Mercury is helping to support this year, what criteria and qualities do you think are going to be crucial for startups to stand out and succeed, not just in this specific challenge, but I know you've been involved in other challenges and competitions before, and I'm sure that the startups and founders on this program would love to hear your insights around sort of those qualities and criteria that you think they need to stand out.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. I have 2 points when it comes to pitching any kind of company, but especially healthcare companies. First is make it a story. We all have clinical data. And so, like, I was at a pitch the other day. I'm going to make this long. There were these incredibly detailed data visualizations about the effectiveness of this device. No one could read it. That's not why we're there. Take that data and make it a story. Tell me why your device is cheaper, faster, more effective. Make it about the humans that are going to participate in this. We're all here because we care about human beings fundamentally. Like, no one works in healthcare for fun. Like this is hard. We do it because we care about people. The second component is what I call super alignment, which I think the gentleman from, I think it was Novo Nordisk, was talking about, that like, if you do not have a vision for how your company exits, how you get paid long-term in a sustainable fashion, and how you fit in the system overall, you're not going to work. It can't, like, this isn't SaaS, where you can be like, oh, I started out with like teachers who are left-footed, and then I went to teachers that were right-footed, and I figured like left-handedness was also good, and I can like keep kind of iterating and pivoting around. That doesn't work in healthcare. You have to have super alignment from day one, and if you can tell that story, from the beginning of this is where we're going to be in 5 years, and these are the blocks we're going to have to knock down to get there. As an investor, as a sponsor, as someone who's here with the community, do the extra work to think about it and put it in a slide. So that's it. I'm going to stop there.
No, that's brilliant. I'm sure you had a lot more to say there. But Ben, thanks so much for coming on the program. I'm sorry we don't have more time to spend with you. Definitely stick around, answer some questions in the chat. And of course, we'll have you back on the program again. And pleasure having you on to share your insights.